We are the Hurt Syndicate. Montel Montavious Porter MVP, the almighty Bobby Lashley, the standard of excellence Shelton Benjamin, and this is TheStunner, the pulse of professional wrestling.
Welcome to Hit My Music. It's Rob here with my co-host Josh, and we have three very special guests. We have the Hurt Syndicate in the house. Better watch what we're saying. I'm a little intimidated.
Yes, you should.
I also underdressed. I was gonna say I feel very underdressed.
I would say that I feel disrespected that you didn't dress for the occasion. What is saving you from being absolutely verbally eviscerated is Josh has a Holiday in Cambodia t-shirt. Shout out to the legendary Dead Kennedys and the Jello Biafra. You scored points with that. You lost points. Proceed.
Yeah, but I have a great Muda straight on.
I mean, Great Muda, yeah, but you got NWO Great Muda, so that's kind of like you screwed the pooch on that.
I'm off brand. But well, you mentioned Dead Kennedys, MVP. I was always impressed with your knowledge of all music, and I'm curious what made you just go and explore all the different genres? Like, what got you interested in listening to that?
So this is gonna sound kind of weird, but I'm biracial. My mother's white and my father's black. So growing up, my mother listened to top 40 radio, and my father listened to R&B radio. And on the weekends, when my father would pick us up, we'd go to my aunt's house with the cookout, and we'd listen to R&B and soul and funk. And like I said, my mom was almost just regular top 40 80s radio. So I was exposed to different types of music. And then when I got into junior high, I was really into hip hop, like really into the rap. My all-time favorite rapper is Rakim. And at the time, Public Enemy, this is what I was about. But I had a friend, John Wesley Mitnick, rest in peace. And I used to work at a vitamin shop. He was the manager. And by the time the shop closed, the buses stopped running. So I made a deal with Wes that I would pay him to drive me home, but it was his car, his music. And he was into old school punk and hardcore. And this is the 80s. And I'd have to ride home listening to MDC and the Agnostic Front, which became one of my favorites. And initially, I was just like, man, I hate this shit, man. But, you get exposed to anything long enough, you start bopping your head. And then he gave me a cassette tape one day. He said, here, take this cassette and listen to it. On one side was Bad Brains, Eye Against Eye. On the other side was the Red Hot Chili Peppers' Uplift Mofo Party Plan. That cassette tape changed my life and how I approach music.
That's awesome. And Sheldon, how about you? What are you listening to typically? Like when you're in the gym, what gets you going?
I actually I'm a lot like MVP. My musical tastes are all over the boards. For working out,
Probably the reason we get along so well.
Oh, that's good.
For working out, I listen to rock music, 80s, 90s, 2000s. I like rock music, and Metallica, AC/DC, Guns N' Roses. I'm a huge fan of Nirvana, Pearl Jam. I'm all over the board. I mean, most people would assume, R&B rap, but I'm a lot more than that because I'm a wrestling fan, and as a wrestling fan, a lot of the music that I was exposed to, like the first time I heard Queen, the first song I knew about Queen was "We Will Rock You," because Rick Rude and Manny Fernandez used to come out as a tag team. Then, I would hear Jerry Lee Lewis because Rock and Roll Express was using one of his songs at one time. So because I was a huge wrestling fan and I was into everything. And because I kept being exposed to all these different types of music, I started pursuing all these different types of music to the point now, one of my hobbies is playing bass guitar. So I tested that to him because I tried lead guitar, but I had to switch to bass when I went to his house and he had one, and I was like, wait, it's a little easier. So I'm all over the board.
That's so great. And Bob here was wondering also, like, you guys over the years travel a lot on the road and stuff. Who amongst you guys controls the radio in the car?
It's a group. It's a collective thing. Yeah, we all love music. We're all music heads. We like music, and there's no particular, like any one of our, as I told earlier, when the first time Shelton and I rode together, he was playing some music, and I'm bopping. He goes, "Oh man," and then I was choosing some music, and he goes, you can ride with me, man. You got great taste in music. But, everything that we were playing, Bobby is also, well, Bobby just wants to work out all the time. So he as long as you got music on for him to work out, he's good to go. He doesn't get mad. He doesn't care. He just
Dimensional.
What are you? As someone to work out. Yeah, Bobby. What are your music jams?
There you go. See, I'm very basic. I grew up listening to like R&B and then hip hop. But when I was in college, my roommate was like a big Grateful Dead fan. So I can appreciate anything because when we would go on bus rides, from wrestling in college, we go on a bus ride, long bus rides. Everybody had a different style of music they like to listen to. So we would have to go from, it's like Alan Jackson and George Strait to Tupac to Grateful Dead and to everything. So you got to appreciate everything. But of course, for me, I listen more hip hop and R&B myself, but I can appreciate anything.
That's cool. And
I just want to say for the record, I have seen Steely Dan 11 times.
oh, duh.
I'm the biggest Steely Dan fan you've ever met. So just eclectic taste in music.
Has anyone ever put anything on in the car? They're like, this is a veto. We can't do this. This is too far.
You're out of the syndicate.
Not that I can recall. I don't.
No, there's been a few times when we've been riding home where I'll play something like, why are you listening to that? So,
Oh yeah, no. There's a couple like, hey man, you listening to funeral music, dog? I don't remember what it was, but
it was probably, like I said, I listen to everything, and I listen to a lot of new age music too, and so it might have been something like that, because I know we never butt heads on reggae, we never butt heads on old school rock. So I don't know, it might have been like, I don't know, Return to Innocence or something. Or something like that.
So you're mentioning obviously you're a big fan, Shelton, growing up of wrestling, and it turned you on to some of the rock music. Do you have a favorite entrance theme of all time? Of any wrestler
Of all time?
Yeah, that separate of your own entrance, nice, but just great. Which is great.
You personally found a lot of things.
My personal favorite theme song of all time is probably the Graveyard Symphony, Undertaker's theme, because I actually used it my senior year in college when I walked out for my matches.
Do you guys have a favorite entrance theme?
I don't think I have a favorite one. I never say favorite, but I remember one time we were doing the Survivor Series, and we were in the ring, and it was when I first got into the business, so everybody was coming out. So it was like Rey Mysterio, The Big Show, Kane, all these different people, and I think I was one of the first people out there. And when I went out there, Ray came out next, and it was big, strong Bobby Lashley at first, and then Ray came out, and I kind of dropped a little bit, and I was like, this is so cool. And the next one came out, I was like, this is so cool. And then by the time I did that, Ray knocks me, he's like, quit being a fan. I was like, oh yeah. So I mean, and I always tell people when you go to a wrestling show, that's one thing that initial pop comes from, is when you hear that music. So man, there's just so many different people that I can say that when you hear that initial pop, I still get those butterflies and say, oh man, this is what wrestling's about.
That's awesome.
My favorite, I do have a favorite, and my favorite is Crash, Masahiro Chono. When that's to me the most, the dope, besides ours, the dopest entrance song ever, especially because you wouldn't expect a Japanese wrestler to come out to that song. And when that music hits and you hear that breakdown, fuck y'all you want to do? I'm like, whoa! So yeah, Chono's entrance music is my all-time favorite.
That's awesome. And MVP, I know you're a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, and I know you guys have amateur wrestling. And I saw something on Instagram, Shelton, where you were training in Jiu-Jitsu. Are you still?
Yeah, I
He's gonna go to Worlds this year.
I dabbled with
Trying to make him go. We're trying to do it.
It's tough. I'm a blue belt, so I understand the stress.
Oh, so that's what I'd be saying.
That's who you'd be facing. How old are you?
I'm 41.
That's who you'd be facing.
41 to you want to do a little?
That's who you'd be facing.
Start pass it on the ground.
No, see, and this is what I try to explain to him. At age, right, because of his collegiate accolades, he can't compete as a white belt. He has to compete in blue. And I was saying that as a black belt, I would absolutely love for my first promotion to be my good friend, the brother Shelton Benjamin. Let me put the blue belt on him. Then we all go to Masters Worlds. And I told him, you don't even have to know how to grapple. All you got to do is just take him down, let him get back up. Take him down. There's nobody that's going to stop Shelton on the blast double A.
That's what, so I was gonna say, like, my friends and I watched the clip that you posted on Instagram of like one of your first trainings, and we were so blown away. Like, his instincts are crazy. Like, he's got it all. Like, I can figure out some of this stuff for like. I mean, I'm still. I don't want to get to my order all, but like, so that's really cool that you're taking it up. And for me, it was transformative. I lost 40 pounds. I love it. It's very meditative.
I see that happen a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, so I recommend it to any wrestling fan. I feel as a wrestling fan, you almost have a leg up in the sense that you understand the mechanics just from watching and seeing people put others in arm bars and stuff.
Well, I'll never forget. Norman Smiley was one of my early mentors, and we were in a warehouse working out one afternoon, and somebody put me in an arm bar. And this is very, very early in my wrestling career. Like, I had very basic understanding of grappling. I wrestled a little bit in junior high school, and somebody put me in an arm bar, and I was selling the arm bar. And Norman got up and he said, "No, you don't sell an arm bar. Once you get to that point, it's over." And he said, "Everybody line up. Let me show you what an arm bar feels like." And one by one, I had to lay down. And he just, with 2 fingers, he didn't even grab. He just said, "Watch this. All right, you understand this? Leverage." And with 2 fingers, he just popped his hips. Oh. Next. And he let us understand what an arm bar actually feels like. And I think one of the problems with professional wrestling is you have a lot of talent, very talented people who have never been in a fight. There's the difference of somebody selling a punch in a pro wrestling style and selling a punch because they've been punched in the face before and they know what it feels like. Yeah. So, Bobby is an accomplished MMA fighter. Shelton Benjamin, 2-time NCAA champion, and he's been in more than a few scraps coming up. So there's an authenticity that comes with us and with certain individuals who have actually been in a fight. And that's why we're so good at violence, because, yeah, we actually do hurt people. We legitimately hurt people. We don't play pro wrestlers. We are pro wrestlers.
I believe it. I'm intimidated just by the answer. Yes. And, you guys are in fantastic shape, but I'm always curious, as someone who's constantly watching his figure, my physique, how do you maintain it on the road? Like what are your go-tos to, like, not be a fat POS like me?
Sprite.
You use that word consistency. It's consistency, man. Whether we're on the road or at home, it's always the same thing. You get up, you do your cardio in the morning, and you go do your workout later on. It's consistency. On the road, it shouldn't change. And that's what I try to do. Because sometimes we like to, maybe if P forces us to do some bad things and stay up later and have the drinks or whatever, in the morning, still get up and do the same thing. That's what people don't understand. They think, okay, tonight I stayed up a little late, had a couple drinks, I'm going to sleep in and not get that in. And then you start regressing. So don't regress. Get up, get your workout in, get your sleep, and then go back and do the same thing. It's just consistency. And like, we're sitting here, a lot of people look at us. Sheldon just had a birthday, and they said, "Man, you look great for this." It's weird that people say that, because I think this is how 50's supposed to look like. You know what? Nice. Not like some of the other people when you look like 50, they're decrepit and they're just breaking down. They look like garbage. You don't have to look like that. So we're gonna change that norm. We're gonna change the look of late 40s and 50s, and this is what it's supposed to look like.
Well, think about it, right? What did our grandparents look like when they were 50, right? They looked like 90. Right? It's a different time.
No.
Not my dad. Not Grandpa Lashley. My grandpa was Oracle. He is Oracle. But as a fellow almost 50-year-old, we appreciate, obviously, that we, age well, and obviously even in wrestling, where I used to be, at a certain point, you would retire one night, and you guys are. I don't think you reached your peaks yet, so it's very impressive.
We try to let people understand there's wrestling and there's the business of wrestling, and the business of wrestling is very important. That's why before we were the Hurt business, and now the Hurt Syndicate, it's still a business for us. I mean, we stay in shape, we look good. That's all part of the business. And when we go out there, we put on great shows because it's part of the business. Everything that we do is for the business.
Just to echo kind of what Bobby says with being consistent. And I've been getting asked a lot more recently, what's the secret? And the secret is, there is no secret. I don't do anything crazy. I don't do any of these gimmick workout plans that you see online. Like Bobby said, I get up every morning or every night. I work every day. I work out. I do something. I don't eat crap. And if I do eat crap, I get up and I work it off. There is no secret. It's just consistency, dedication, and accountability. Get up, get it in, and move on.
Did you guys get your workout in this morning?
No, but I'll get it tonight.
And I'm curious, do you guys watch wrestling for fun? Like you put on something or like for
No.
studying? Like
No.
It's just
I don't watch wrestling for fun. At this point, I watch wrestling to sharpen my own skills. So if I'm watching something, that means I can't watch wrestling for fun anymore. Every time I watch wrestling, I'm critiquing it. I'm tearing it apart. I'm breaking it down every little.
So with a different eye.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. So what would you put on? Do you have like a favorite era to put on to do that? Or
No, it's more like when I do watch, it's probably someone I'm going to be working with because I want to familiarize myself with who they are, what they do, and what I may or may not have to correct. Because I guess I'm at veteran status, so.
OG Vix.
But also because I believe wrestling, like everything, is fluid. It evolves, so I can't be too stuck in my own ways. I need to understand what the younger generation is doing too, and learn how to incorporate my style with their style, so that everyone's satisfied at the end of the day.
It's awesome, dude. And one last question: if someone comes up to you and says, "I'm just now getting into pro wrestling. What are 3 or 4 matches that I absolutely have to watch?" What would you recommend to them?
Yeah. I don't like that question, because I wouldn't say it's a particular match. I think you should just be your own. And I always tell people, like, find your way, find what makes you valuable to the company. You can't.
No. A fan. I mean, like as a fan, not as a wrestler.
Just a great wrestling.
Yeah. What are your favorite like go-to wrestling matches to recommend?
Because it's different.
There's so many different styles. Like when I was introduced to Japanese wrestling, it blew my mind, and I said, I want to do that. And at the time I was married, and I remember my ex-wife saying, "There's something wrong with you. Well, like, you guys got chemical imbalances." You know, like I saw somebody get suplexed on their head, and I went, "Yes, that's." I'm not a fan of comedy wrestling. I mean, professional wrestling is a buffet. There should be a little something for everybody, you know. But I love the combat aspect of professional wrestling. Pro wrestling was MMA before MMA existed, and I like the fact that we're simulating combat. And one of the things that Shelton was talking about is, you know, the evolution of professional wrestling, and there is a contingent today that is more about acrobatics and choreography, and I don't knock that because they grew up playing Street Fighter and watching the Transporter, and that's their idea of what a fight looks like. So as Shelton said, I'm not going to say you're doing it wrong, but there are ways that you can do it better. And if you're a fan of professional wrestling, I'm going to say go watch Misawa Kawada for the Triple Crown. You know, pick any one. Or I might say go watch, Jerry Lynn and Rob Van Dam. Or if you say, Mike Awesome and Masato Tanaka. Other people would say, oh no, you got to watch, Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin. It just depends on what your flavor of ice cream is. So, like I said, when I grew up in Miami, and I was watching, Southern wrestling that was presented as real, and the first time I saw Japanese wrestling, I had never seen that before. I had never seen that level of aggression and violence, and that immediately got my attention, and that's what I wanted to watch. But there are other people that go, no, I like to watch more of the Memphis style, or so it's kind of difficult to say what you would introduce somebody to, because it would depend on your taste in wrestling. So
that's pretty much what, if someone would ask me what they want to watch, and this is basically echoing him again, I'd be like, well, what are you into? Do you want to see a lot of cool moves? Well, I say you know, first guy to come to mind, I say watch any Rey Mysterio match. If you want to watch Smash Mouth guys, a monster just destroying people, I'd suggest any one of our matches, particularly Bobby matches, or you know.
I got to throw a caveat in there because Rey Mysterio does a lot of cool moves, but his psychology is solid. He doesn't do anything just for the sake of doing it.
Right.
Whereas there are a lot of young people that go, "Oh, that looks cool. I want to do it," with no rhyme or reason to why they do it other than that looks cool. So I just wanted to throw that in there before, because somebody was jump on that, and you know.
Right. But the other part is, again, based on what your personal taste is, I'm just now, if you tell me, me and my kids are just now getting into professional wrestling. Well, while it's a crazy match, I'm not going to recommend Hangman Page versus Swerve Strickland. Right. Because there's kids, and I have kids, and I think responsibly as adults. I wouldn't suggest that to you. I would think something more kid-friendly. So to his point, it's all a matter of what do you like? You know what I mean? So it's not, there's no one match in any category that I can go, oh, watch this. But I would say, depends on the style.
I hear you. Very cool. Well, I mean, final question for you guys, since we're here. Obviously, you guys just recently let the first Jewish member of the Hurt Syndicate in. Is there any chance for 2 other young Jewish guys to ever have?
We don't care about Jews.
Well, first of all,
Wait, no. Let me reframe. We do not. Your race, ethnicity does not matter to us at all.
Are you about making money? Are you about business?
That's all.
And obviously, you knew that we would be here today, and you didn't dress for the occasion, so you were immediately eliminated because you disrespected us by not properly dressed. Sure. But like I said, I will give you a pass for the Holiday in Cambodia shirt.
Don't get no cover. Yeah, I was holding my heart to say that.
I'll give you a pass for that. And you do have a Muda shirt. Plus points for that. Minus points because it's an NWO Muda shirt. But again, no, because you guys don't have super.
Okay, well, let's do how we did it before. What do we give them? Oh, starting in there. Thumbs up or thumbs down on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Right, well, where do we go from there? You flick that video and edit.
Thank you so much to the Hurt Syndicate, the Hurt Syndicate National Trio in pro wrestling.
Well said.